While I am personally still shaking from meeting Mr. Sakamoto earlier on stage, I like to welcome you to another episode of Nintendo Red Cube, coming live to you from the Nintendo Red Cube here at Gamescom in Cologne, Germany. And I'm joined by my lovely colleagues from Nintendo of Europe. Hey guys, good to have you here. Chris and Filippo, of course.
Hello, everyone.
Whew, yeah, I wasn't able to say that first sentence without stuttering. It's because I'm really, really nervous. It was so great to meet Mr. Sakamoto, right? I mean, you guys already know him, but for me it was really exciting.
Impressive. We are big fans as well.
I mean, it's the fanboy trio here.
It is a little bit, and I can add something to that as well, because like earlier this day, we were really fighting about who's allowed, more or less, to play this segment right now, because everyone wanted to play, right?
Yeah, I mean, even if we played it before, like just having a chance to another 10-15 minutes of Metroid gameplay, it's hard to pass up.
And that's exactly what this episode of Nintendo Red Cube is all about. We are going to focus on Metroid Samus Returns, the newest version that is coming out for the 3DS, and you guys are going to tell us all about it.
Yeah, so let's just start with a brief introduction.
Yeah.
So Metroid Samus Returns is a reimagining of the Game Boy original Metroid 2: The Return of Samus. And while it makes use of the original map layout and world layout and follows the same kind of storyline, it really expands on it in so many different ways. And what we're going to do in this live stream is basically try to touch upon these elements, how it expands, and also go into a bit more detail about the new Aeon ability that we just revealed on stage called Phase Drift.
That sounds pretty exciting. So, Filippo, I know that you are excited as well. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about where we are going to start right now.
So, basically, we are going to start almost where the previous on-stage demonstration ended. So, we're going to show you a little bit more. We're going to start actually by getting the last out of 4 Aeon abilities soon. And Chris, just if we can take away the gameplay, please. There we go. So, here we are just where we are getting the last of the Aeon abilities, the Phase Drift.
Yeah, so before I do that, I just want to briefly stand still for a moment, because one really great thing of Metroid Samus Returns is how incredibly detailed the graphics are.
Yes.
It's just not only the animations of Samus, but also the backdrops are really amazing.
Yes.
And they don't only look good in 2D, they also look great in 3D, and you really have so much depth to discover, so many details in the environments to find, even the lighting details, and yeah, it's really eye candy.
Yeah, and one thing that he told me in advance is that in the original version, if I might say so, which was obviously black and white, or black and white and green, if
black and green,
yeah, exactly.
Screen,
it was quite easy to get lost, because it was so hard to recognize where you are right now. And this time it's different, because it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, like the planet where Samus is right now, planet SR388, is a maze-like cave system.
Yeah.
So while she's delving deeper and deeper into the planet, in the Game Boy original, all those environments looked very similar to each other. So what that meant is that you could really get lost, because you were like, am I now in this area or am I in that area?
Yeah.
And what has happened now is that because there are so many detailed backdrops, you really get a much stronger sense of geometry, of where you are in the planet.
Each area of SR388 looks visibly different, and of course it's not just because, of course, they can do it on Nintendo 3DS, and for the Nintendo 3DS family, we can, of course, make the game look nicer than the original. But it's also to give really a sense of belonging, to really make this planet come to life.
Yeah.
And it's, I would say, like, I would suggest everybody to play it with 3D on. And also to look at, there is an eShop trailer, I think, that is in 3D as well. So it's like, if you want to know how the game looks with the stereoscopic 3D.
It's so uncommon to see you get hit.
Well, the thing is, I'm trying to find the right spot to show you the newly acquired Phase Drift.
Yes.
So Phase Drift is one of the 4 Aeon abilities, and it allows you to slow down time. However, let's take a step back, because you can also combine it with other Aeon abilities, like the Burst Beam, which fires away a really strong and powerful beam, and that's of course very helpful in these big groups of enemies. But it's also very helpful when you are fighting a boss and you are in a pickle.
Yeah.
So there are enemies that basically they will heal themselves if you hit them with normal shots because they have a very fast regeneration rate. So you need to use the beam burst to be able to defeat them, for example.
Exactly. And what we're here is that this is one of the puzzle elements that I showed where you need to use the phase drift because without that you cannot get across these breakable blocks.
Yeah.
Also, one thing which I also showed on stage, which is just really nice, is you have the ability to aim in all 360 degrees.
Yes.
Not only does it mean that you can really pinpoint your aim at the enemies, but also when you aim at a block that requires the grapple beam,
That's so cool.
it immediately switches.
Yeah.
And the grapple beam actually new ability to the game.
Yes.
And so this is one of those ways in which the game expands, that it doesn't only make use of the Game Boy original map, but it also adds some elements that you have to that are new puzzles basically.
Yeah.
So here we also see another use of the phase drift ability that is more like to solve an environmental puzzle. As we see, these fireballs are way too fast for us to be able to jump effectively. So in order to pass this area, we can take this big Aeon energy orb that refills the Aeon energy bar, which is that yellow bar just underneath the counter of the missiles and the energy of Samus on the touchscreen. And in this way, by slowing down time, we can pass it. That's a locked door. Of course, locked doors are quite a typical element of Metroid. In that case, that one has to be opened from the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's nice about Metroid. It's Samus Returns. This kind of things really show that at the heart there is still a lot of exploration to do. I mean, we've been showing a lot of the action, but in the end, it is still a maze-like cave system, and you have to find your way through. So we cannot open that door from that side. So let's try to. So that means we have to find another way.
So here you are in a new era. This is actually we didn't show this in the presentation before with Mr. Sakamoto. So you can maybe show off. Yeah, okay. You already did the scan pulse, which is the first Aeon ability that we get. So you see below in the map, it basically scans an area of that grid of 10 by 10 squares. And if you have a destructible element in the environment, it will also blink white on the top screen if you're near it. We want to go on the left side.
Oh.
Yes. And we want to show you a new... so this is one of those enemies I was telling you, you can only defeat him with the beam burst. Because you see, if we shoot him, even with the rockets, nothing really happens at this point. We need to have like a very, very fast stream of shots.
Basically, because he has an extremely strong shell, we need a countermeasure that is also
extremely strong. Yes. So actually, what happens if you get hit exactly? So what happens if you get hit by this enemy or by this yellow energy blast is that all of your Aeon abilities get disabled for a brief amount of time. So even though they're tiny, they are very, very dangerous, those guys. And this is also a typical element of Area 5, the place where we are right now, where you have these very organic creatures like those bugs that were exploding and these robots sort of mixed together in an environment that's very like forest-like in a way. Alien forest-like, I would say.
Yeah, so what we see here is it's a spot where I cannot pass.
Yeah.
At least not for now. So again, trying to find another way. And this is actually a good spot to show the lightning armor, the fourth of the Aeon.
Oh yeah, right.
Yes.
Because that one briefly shields you from damage, and especially against a group of enemies like this who try to attack me.
Yes, so they're tiny.
Phase drift just to be safe. That was just useful.
They're tiny, but they do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So the lightning armor basically allows you to consume the Aeon energy instead of your life bar, and in this way you can survive.
So another moment where I can nicely use the grapple beam.
Yeah.
And actually you can see here that I can get across. However, I want to show you a neat trick.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of these hidden neat tricks that show that Samus has a lot of added animations and a lot of really smooth ways of getting through the level.
Yeah.
So here, if I just walk against it and jump, I immediately can go on.
I love that so much because it's not about lowering the difficulty or something, it's just about getting that super smooth gaming experience.
Yeah, I can imagine that this is a dream for speed.
Yeah.
Yes, but also it's about making Samus look as she should, so the coolest bounty hunter in the galaxy. So of course she doesn't have time for idle jumping. She immediately transitions into every animation very seamlessly. It's really cool to see how they have animated Samus, and as I said, like how everything very smoothly transitions into one another. Every animation.
Even how in the water you can see that every animation is just so detailed.
What I personally like a lot about the animation is when you get to shoot something behind your shoulder with 360-degree aiming, and she'll just look as cool as it gets by just casually shooting behind her shoulder without even looking at something.
Yeah, so meanwhile I was just playing around a little bit because this is a breakable block, and that means that I cannot get across unless
so the grapple beam has another use in this case, because you don't only destroy those red points, but with these blue grapple beam points you can pull yourself to them. So again, plays a role in traversal, in environmental puzzle solving. We are at a very advanced part of the game. The objective of Metroid Samus Returns is to kill 40 Metroids that are living here in the planet SR388. As you can see from the counter below on the bottom screen, we have 12 left. And the counter also acts as a radar. So you see it starts blinking yellow. It starts blinking yellow because we are close to a Metroid.
Yeah, so I'm just standing still here for a moment because you can hear we now have a very peaceful, calm, melancholic music. And that's about to change.
Oh yes. So here we are in a very hot environment. We can be in here and not take any damage because we have the barrier suit already. And here we see a new type of Metroid. Well, not a new type of Metroid, but a different type of Metroid than what we've shown before. Which kind of Metroid is this one? Sure.
This is a Gamma Metroid.
Exactly.
And what you can see is it's not an... Oh, that was mean.
Yep.
It's not a normal Gamma Metroid. It's actually one that is slightly evolved already because it has some fire capacities to it. So let me switch to the Ice Beam by using the touchscreen. Really easy to switch between beams and try to get at it. Oh, this is going to be dangerous. So,
jump, jump, jump.
I know.
So they have they have many different kinds of attacks, and so their pattern can become very unpredictable. You really need to
and especially
learn.
against the Gamma Metroids, I feel they are one of the most unpredictable ones because they can walk and they can fly. And as you can see, even though I know the strategies of how to defeat him, sometimes you just don't get the chance to do it.
So you want to hit the soft part on his belly, which is where the nucleus of the Metroid is. And if you hit with a fully charged Ice Beam Blast, you will basically freeze his belly and he will not be able to do certain attacks.
Yeah, however, he's getting me into real trouble because he's not giving me any chance to really retaliate.
It's a beauty of live performances, of course. I mean, the game is very challenging as we want it to be.
Yeah,
like you wouldn't want an easy Metroid game.
Yeah.
So Metroid Samus Returns is a challenging game.
I can see,
as we can see.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
I'm seriously messing this up.
Don't worry, it's fine.
Luckily, you can continue quite close to where you left off.
Yes. So what I wanted to say is that it is a difficult game, and it can become even harder because if you complete the game, then you can unlock hard difficulty.
That's what I wanted.
Nice.
And yeah, we've frozen the Metroid now, so it cannot perform certain attacks. And the melee counter timing is really difficult.
Yes, with this one, especially because the Gamma Metroid makes a lot of feints, and he transitions from one move into the other. So it's the one where I always struggle with finding the right timing to hit him properly and give myself an option to retaliate. He's being really mean to me today.
He really is.
Even though, as we said before, this is a Gamma Metroid with fire, and we are as well in a lava lake. So it's not just the fight that makes it more difficult, it's also the environment that makes it.
So let me actually use a bit of the beam burst and the phase drift, but I actually consumed all my Aeon energy. Oh, see that what happened there? He actually thawed the ice by going into the lava.
Yes. they are mean, but also smart.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, that explosion really is difficult to avoid.
Yeah, it mainly costs a lot of timing, because you suddenly have to get away from the spot where you want it to be. And yes, that's what I wanted.
Okay.
Now I can.
So now it will come at you, and probably will do a melee attack that you can counter. There it is.
Nice.
And we have these amazing animations.
I love this.
Where, yes, there we go. Where Samus fights and shoots rockets. It's really cool.
Let's put it like this. It has been easier sometimes. But yeah, it was successful.
It was successful. I mean, as I said, we are both pretty experienced with Metroid Samus Returns, but even a fight in which you know everything still can throw you off a little bit if you don't have time.
I think you just wanted to showcase that it's kind of challenging. So it's
well, Filippo was talking about challenging fights, so.
And I think, well, yeah. So you don't have yet the suit that allows you to resist lava.
Let's get out of here. I've had enough of this lava. It's not been friendly to me today. So I think
that's better.
Yes.
We're back in this peaceful zone. I'm a bit relieved. Although we have to be careful for the bottom here.
Yes.
But yeah, this was the part that we could show in addition to what we already showed on stage. And what we really wanted to highlight is how these Aeon abilities, they are all vastly different, but they also interact with each other.
Yes.
And each of them gives you a chance to sort of expand on a playstyle that you like. So the Scan Pulse is really for those who like to explore, scan your environment. The Lightning Armor is for defense. The Burst Beam is for attacking, and the Phase Drift slows down time, so it can really be combined for a lot of different ones.
Yeah, and all of them play a role in environmental puzzles too. So there's always, you know, the progression and the movement in Metroid, the Samus Returns is always depending on which kind of abilities you have.
Amazing. Yeah, so thank you guys very much for giving us a bit more insight on the highly anticipated title Metroid Samus Returns for 3DS, which is coming out at September 15th.
Yes.
It's not that long anymore.
No, fortunately.
Luckily not.
Long enough. I'm looking forward to that, man.
Yes, for sure.
Incredible. So thank you very much for that. We're going to see each other again in just a few seconds, because right now we're going to show what our reporter Max is doing on Gamescom, because he's running around the Gamescom, also the Gamescom camp and outside just in Cologne, and talking to people and showcasing what you can do with the Nintendo Switch, of course. And right now I'm just curious to see where he is. So let's see it. Max.